What is going on, guys? MJ2005 Gundam here, and today I'm going to be unboxing and reviewing the metal build Gundam Astray Gold Frame Amatsu Mina from Gundam C Astray Princess of the Sky. But before we take a look at the beast itself, here is the box. When laid flat, the box measures at 38 times 26.5 times 10 centimeters, so it is a very sizable box to say the very least. On the back, basically more poses and more information about the Gundam Astray Gold Frame Amatsu Mina, but it is instead renamed the Amatsu Mina C. So I don't know why they didn't put the renamed version and instead tagged Princess of the Sky along with the real name just to twist our tongues. Now on the top of the box it does say Umarikawata Tenku no Shugosha, which means Reborn Guardian of the Sky. Diving into the inbox contents, you will find yourself with a foam board and 3 clamshell containers that contains the backpack, accessories, effect parts, spare arm, and manipulators for the Astray Gold Frame Amatsu Mina C. Inside of the foam board, you will find yourself with a stand that is disassembled, and onto the left side, the actual Gundam itself. On the underside of the foam board, you will find yourself with the instruction manual with a very cool pose in the front. Flipping into the first page, you will see the parts counts that illustrates what is what, but albeit in Japanese, so you may need Google Translate for this one. Moving on to the second page, you will see parts of the assembly information and some mobility options just to make sure you do not break any of the joints when you're trying to move this figure around. Moving on to the second page, you will see the assembly instructions for the backpack and the gimmicks of the backpack. Moreover, you will also see assembly instructions of the stand and the 3 adapters to mount the figure onto it. The third page illustrates the movable pieces on the stand first of all, and the coupling of the weapons into the gigantic compound weapon with the Churkuro's Kai. More on that information on the 4th page. The 5th page illustrates the Okitsu no Kagami weapon. Of course, this figure comes with 2, and it teaches you how to couple and disassemble it. The 6th page illustrates the conversion into the normal Amatsu Mina that we know and love with the Blitz arm and the Churkuro's Kai gimmicks. Finally, it illustrates the adapters and the intercompatibility between the Amatsu Mina and the Strike Gundam with the various adapters included in the figure. Upon taking out the figure, putting on the shoulder pads, locking the backpack arm into the back, and connecting the backpack into the arm, which should produce a clicking sound, you will finally have this. And this right here looks absolutely freaking phenomenal. Like, the matte black not only does it make it look more militaristic, it also allows for the gold frame to shine through the color scheme and not have the black steal the spotlight from it. The chrome gold metal frame complementing the metallic gold plastic pieces that I have done to go over the frame, and especially with the metallic orange circles that are on the arm frame design, they do actually work together. The metallic purplish prune-ish gray color on the torso, yep, they've done that with a metallic finish as well, and that does allow for some more details to be shown through. The vinyl design does look absolutely freaking phenomenal. It's minimalistic unlike the real grades, but they do add to the design very, very well. For example, like the Amatsu logo over here. Unfortunately, this thing does not have an opening cockpit, but I never expected it, to be honest with you. The design overall is absolutely freaking phenomenal. The small color details are very well done, especially on the head, because you even get the silver details on the Vulcans, and you do get the silver detail for the track. I think the eye does move over here. Canonically, it doesn't move on the figure, unfortunately, but yeah, I think the eye does move. The gray detail is very well done. The eyes, the main eyes are done in a metallic blue, which look very, very awesome. The red small details over here. These spike pieces are unique to the Princess of the Sky version, aka Amatsu Mina C. And these spikes over here, yeah, they cause the entire thing causes a laceration hazard, so I had to put that out there. But these spikes over here, if you remove them, which are very easy, you just take it off. It's just plastic, so you can easily reattach them. You can actually see the vinyl design that is on the original Astray shoulder panel, which is very, very nice. Because these things are on a circular peg, they can rotate, but you do also have some silver vents over here and red details that look very, very nice. They do not completely hide the chrome gold frame, however, because you can absolutely see just a face full of chrome right inside of the crotch, but you do also have some chrome of the frame showing through in the feet vents and of course the actual feet itself. And the backpack arm over here is fully done in metal, so of course it's going to be chrome, and some of the arm details are showing the chrome through. And the one thing that I found problematic is the front feet armor. Just like the high grade, just like the real grade, they fall off way too easily. But a simple reattachment is very fine. But I don't know if plastic cement works because it attaches onto a metal socket, so yeah, I don't know if that works or not. This thing can get a little bit back heavy as well, so keep that in mind, but this thing does come with a stand as I've shown in the unboxing section, so you don't need to worry about that. But overall, this thing, I know it's dragged on a little bit, but the details that are implemented into this figure is just amazing, and I'm certainly not disappointed that this thing is as detailed as it is. In terms of the articulation, only beware of the laceration hazard and the rather tight joints. So let's get on with it. The head over here can move on a double joint, so it can go that far down, that far up. It does have a side-to-side tilt despite the headgear over here, which can move out of the way, which is very, very nice. It can rotate, but beware of the headgear getting caught inside of the armor gaps of the shoulders. So, yep, that's going to be a bit of an issue. And if you can endure the pain, you can get it to do the funky chicken. It hurts to do that because of its spiky head. The arms over here, they can move forward and back a little bit, but it's a very tight joint, so beware of that. They can, of course, rotate all the way around until they hit the backpack. Or if you angle the backpack away from the arms, then they can go out no problem. The arms over here, they can go out that far perpendicular to the body, basically. Rotation above the elbow, that is very, very tight because of the golden frame. So beware of that. And you do have a double joint at the elbow, which looks very, very nice, exposing more of that chrome golden frame. The wrists over here, it has a knuckle joint at the arm over here, so you can go up and down just like so. It can also go in and out with a knuckle joint in there, and of course the wrist itself is on a peg, but the knuckle joint in here is more than sufficient for the wiggle. The torso over here, well, with the backpack it's a little bit hard to get it to move, but it does have a rather good forward crunch that has a moving detail in the back, kind of like a piston movement. And towards the side, you aren't going to get any more crunches. In the waist over here, you can basically rotate it 90 degrees towards each direction, but don't push it too far. The front skirts can move on a ball joint, side skirts are hinged, back skirts can move for once, thank God. The legs don't seem to have any unique mechanics in there, so all they can do is go forward not that far, and there goes the armor piece again, backwards not that far, outwards not that far, but it could be sufficient if you prop it up. A little bit of a rotation at the hip, but it's very, very tight, so beware. And you do have a double jointed knee with armor separation, which is very, very nice. Here is the bend again from the side. Beautiful. And of course the ankles over here, they can't really move forward. I was trying to move it forward, but I really don't want to force it. But they don't seem to be able to move forward. They can move backward on 2 ratchets, which is alright, I guess, but it does affect the posing for balance on the ground. Not that you're going to do that anyway because this thing has a stand. Of course, it does come with a very, very minute ankle rocker and barely any rotation. Now on the backpack over here, the wings over here can move up and down like so. They can go in and out on the back. They can rotate at the back because energy absorption claws. And speaking of them, they can flip out like so, which is very nice. And here you have some more detail. And then finally you have an extension joint over here. It jolts, so beware. And you can have the claw flip in and out like so, just to hook somebody in for energy absorption. But there aren't any other opening joints like on the real grade, so it's a little bit underwhelming to me, but what could you expect? They already had a very high budget when it comes to producing this thing. So articulation wise, it's not really the best in the world, especially when you cannot adjust the feet to adjust for the balance. However, if you prop it up, this thing has no problem doing any pose. So overall, articulation, it's not really made for the ground, but it's decent at the very, very least. Accessories is where this review is gonna get super duper long because of the amounts that it comes with. First of all, let's talk about what is on the body. First of all, we do have the Magishira no Hoku harpoon that are in the wings over here. So you can just swivel them out, open them up, and take off this harpoon tip. And you do get 2 sets of wires with adapters. These are the ones that are slim but strong. And you just plug the harpoon tip into the adapter over here, and you plug the other one back into the mounting port. Now it's going to be hard because of positioning, but here you have it. Now the wire can be angled however you want. It's very easy to adjust and pretty bouncy, if I may say so myself, but no stabilize after a while. So you can create some sort of imposing display with the harpoons to pair with the Maga no Ikutachi energy absorption claws over here that I can show, you can extend and hook people in. Next up, of course, we have the Totsuga no Tsurugi saber over here. They do have some text that may be saying its name. Now, these things right here look very much like the real grades, and they are in the very nice looking metallic silver, which is pretty nice. Now you can store them onto the clips on the side skirts. They are on ball joints, so they are adjustable, but you can also bring in the holding hands and wedge the weapon in there. Now this really doesn't tickle my fancy, but these are rubbery hands, so I guess I don't have to worry about them too much. They're already at an angle, so you can get some pretty cool displays with that. And you can just swap out the hands, and here you are. The saber is being held inside of the hand. But that's not all for the swords. No. You do also get this thing right here, which is labeled only as Totsuga no Tsurugi Jointo. So yeah, we do have kind of like a peculiar looking gun sword, something like that. This looks like a barrel. I don't know if you can fire beams or not. And of course you do have a very cool looking brace over here with the gold details, very nice, and the metallic silver joints in the middle. So what you want to do is to take this off, rotate this sideways, and bring in these swords. It's hard to get it out of the hand, which is what I do appreciate. And you basically clip the swords into this joint piece over here. Here you have it, and then reattach this gun sword brace thing and allow the gold frame to hold it. You wedge it in the same way like you did with the swords, but it's a little bit hard to do so just because of the peculiar handle design. And here you have it. Now here you have kind of like a twin blade weapon, which is a little bit weird to me, but hey, Gundam C does have some very weird weapons when it comes to the spin-offs. But that's not all, because when you bring in the modified Trickero's Kai, which I haven't fully assembled because I want to teach you how to do so, you first of all want to bring in this panel over here and cover up the hard point because it's not needed in the Amatsu Mina C, and then you want to bring in this attachment over here. Just plug it onto the peg that is on the side. Now these spears are of course separate, which is to be expected from the metal build. You can just plug it right in. There is a notch for the detail to hit so as to secure them in the weapon. So you basically rotate this and attach it into the hard points in the arm. Now it's going to be a little bit hard initially, but you're going to get it in eventually. Now, if you think this is not crazy enough, while it's missing the lower portion, you can actually take this thing right here, adjust the brace over here, so basically spin the central piece up a little bit while re-spinning this thing back to line up with the shield thing, angle the top blade forward and flip the bottom blade forward like so, and here you have whatever this is. But if you slide it into the Trickero's Kai, a bit of trial and error later, here we have it. So this compound weapon combined with the Trickero's Kai equals slashing weapon of death. Now, if even that is not enough for you, you do get a beam to stick into the barrel of the Trickero's Kai, and you have whatever this is. So the Trickero's Kai just got decked out with a lot of different blades. Moving on, we have 2 sets of the Okitsu no Kagami offense defense beam shield system. So, yep, the spear thing that you saw on the Amatsu Mina real grade, yep, you have 2 of them now. And you basically have the moving track over here, just like so. The ends over here can rotate for the coupled mode, and the pieces over here are on double hinges on top of the hinge that is in the central joints over here. So all you need to do is to adjust to the correct position. You just stick the peg into this hole right here and adjust the weapon. Now you have the weapon in the arm. But there's an alternative. If you remove this piece over here, this is a handle. So if you bring in the other holding hand and just jam the handle into the hand, just like so, you'll have him holding a spear. Now, this figure does come with 4 of these pink effect parts, as opposed to the original orange for the Amatsu Mina we knew from before. So what you want to do is to just open these pieces up and just plug these beam effects in, just like so, and couple them together to form the shield mode, just like so. So let me put this back in, and here you have it, the Okitsu no Kagami in shield mode. Now to put it in spear mode, you basically just collapse the 2 together, and here you have it. It's in spear mode. Now the major feature of these weapons are they can be coupled in this version. So I'm just going to take them off like so, and there's no adapters or anything. You just simply couple the weapons together at the ends over here, and then because of the rotary joints on the ends over here, you can adjust the handles. And oh yeah, by the way, I forgot that the spear tip over here can rotate. And here you have it. It's too freaking long for my shot, but this is basically an idea of what the Amatsu Mina C would look like with the coupled Okitsu no Kagami. And of course, with this thing being an Astray gold frame Amatsu Mina, you cannot go without the pieces to convert it back to the Amatsu Mina we know and love. So first of all, what you want to do is mine the laceration hazard and take off the right arm. Plug the blitz arm onto there, and keep in mind that it takes quite a bit of effort and it's rather tough to do so. And what you want to do for the Trickero's Kai is to take off whatever this is, this abomination of a weapon, and refit it with this blade over here, which, side note, can be held in the hand if you wedge it in there. Now, it's not an official specification, but it is purely made as a gimmick for the metal build figure that came before it. And of course, this thing being a direct upgrade, it's left over from the other figure. So what you want to do is to jam the blade over here, that one's smoother than I thought, into the Trickero's Kai over here. And of course, these spears can fall off on their own accord, but simply put them back in and you'll be good to go. Now, the detail on the blade over here is very, very nice. I love the vinyls, and I do love the carving that is basically the Amatsu Mina model number. Now, what you want to do is to take this off and take this cover off, which can be a little bit tricky, but you'll get there eventually. And then just bring in this handle over here, plug it into the hard points, and then you need to bring in the holding hand of the blitz arm, jam this handle in as well, and then plug the Trickero's Kai into the blitz arm's hard point over here, which is kind of intrusive, but I get it, while simultaneously plugging the hands into the blitz arm. Now, by the way, the blitz arm can have the exact same articulation as the Astray arm, so it's as articulate, but instead of using a gold frame that it can be exposed by bending the arm, it uses a chrome silver frame, because Blitz Gundam. With a bit of fiddling later, here we have the Trickeros Kai put onto the arm. It functions the same way. You can of course bring in the beam so it can function as a beam saber or just basically a beam rifle. Now of course you can equip the Okita no Kagami onto the left arm, but this kit does also come with the Tsumaha no Tachi triple claw, which is basically the claw that we've seen multiple times that doesn't even work. Now this part over here can move up and down, and you do have the vinyl that states its name, and basically you would want to bring out these claws, and they are sharp, mind you, so I would advise bringing in some mechanical help, but I've done that earlier, and slide out the claws. They move simultaneously, so they aren't individual, which is pretty damn nice. And you just plug it onto the underside of the arm, in which case again showing that the claws don't protrude out far enough from the arm to make them an effective weapon. And finally, here you have it, the ineffective claws mounted onto the arm, just like so. And if you really do not like the clips hanging from the side skirts, you can always bring in the regular ones and clip them back in, so that you will have a clean side skirt. To top it all off, we do have our multiple different hand options. On top of the holding hands and the closed fists for the Blitz and the Astray arms, you do get a set of open hands for the Astray arm, which is very well done in color detail. You do get another holding hand for holding the swords for the Blitz arm, and you do get an open one for the Blitz arm, although I'm not really too sure if it does actually have claw-like fingernails. So that's going to be all the accessories on the Amatsu Mina C / Amatsu Mina. But we are not done, as we do still have the action base to talk about. Now, this base over here does look absolutely amazing. We do have the description of the Gundam Amatsu Mina Gold Frame C, and we do have Orb main battle figure prototype 1 Rec 2C customized mobile suit for Rono Mina Sahaku, so basically what is on the vinyls. And we do have a gigantic character that says Amatsu on the base that proclaims its sovereignty of the skies. So here we have one type of the arms, which is basically an action base 4 or 5 one, which are two separate arms that hits up notches. And we do have the lock over here that you can push in to free up the peg that secures the Amatsu Mina onto the ground. And we do have another one over here that unfolds that allows you to adjust the arm over here, which is pretty nice. The second type of arm is like the action base 1 type. So we do have the two arms that are put together, and you basically swap these two out for the giant one, which are for aerial poses. We do have another button lock over here that is smaller, so it's less intrusive on the look. That allows you to free up the peg over here as well. And you do have another flip lock over here that allows you to extend and retract the arm, which is very nice. And you do also have a third lock over here to unlock, so that you can adjust the height of the second arm on the first arm, so as to angle the base back and forth. Overall, I do prefer this one because it's not the action base 4 or 5 one, which means it is going to be sturdier. In terms of adapters, Bandai felt the need to implement 3 different adapters for the Amatsu Mina to have a plug into the adapter. First of all, it's this one that classically goes into the crotch. You just cover it over and there you have it. Now to remove it, it's a little bit tough because you need to wedge the adapter out in order to have enough clearance to take it out. It's going to be a tough experience, and I don't advise using this one no matter what you're doing, because the other ones, for example type B over here, goes into the butt skirt over here. You just slide it up, and here you have it, an action base hole going from the back. And if that is not what you're looking for, it's gonna be a little bit tough to take this one out as well. So yeah, that was a little bit of an endeavor, so I will advise against using type A and B as well. Now, in terms of type C, this one is way simpler, and it just goes into the hole on the back skirt over here. So you just plug that in, and here you have it, another hole for an action base. And this is the easiest to take off, just because you do not need to work around too many parts in order to get a grip and take it off. So among the 3 adapters, I will advise using Type C. So that's going to wrap it up for the stand, and of course this thing does come with adapters for you to play with the backpacks of the Metal Build Strike and this kit right here. So this is for the Amatsu Mina, and it is for you to plug on the ale pack onto the back. I'm not going to do that right now because I can't demonstrate it. I don't have the actual thing. Now this, on the other hand, is for the Strike to use the Amatsu Mina's backpack. So you can play around with them if you like. And these pegs over here are for plugging on the beam sabers of the ale pack onto this adapter right here. So if you want the Amatsu Mina backpack on the Strike, at the very least you can keep the beam sabers. One final thing, the Trickery Sky also has a custom arm adapter for the Strike. Now it visually looks similar when compared to the one used for the Amatsu Mina. It has a block over here and the peg is slightly smaller, only to allow for the Trickery Sky to be plugged onto the Strike Gundam's right arm. So yep, that's some customization for you. So that is everything that is included in the figure. For comparison, seeing as this thing is a 1/100 scale, I'm gonna bring in my only other 1/100 scale kit, the Gundam Barbatos. So the height, I don't know if it's off scaled or not, but at least you have a 1/100 gold frame Amatsu Mina that does absolutely look good on your shelf, albeit for an extremely high price. So that about wraps it up for my review on the Metal Build Gundam Astray Gold Frame Amatsu Mina C. Personally, I'm not really one for metal builds, but that doesn't take away from the fact that this figure looks absolutely amazing. Proportions are spot on, color theory is well implemented because of the matte black and red, not taking away from the absolutely amazing chrome and metallic gold and the metallic silver. The vinyl design is absolutely awesome because it's not as messy as the ones on the real grade, but it does also give the Amatsu Mina more accents just to give it that extra bit of a punch for the overall looks. And also, I really do appreciate the small color details that they implemented into the figure, especially the silver Vulcans on the head. The articulation, I don't really have a standard for them because I don't even have a standard metal build in my collection, so no standards are set, but for what it is absolutely sufficient for you to pull off awesome poses. The accessory loadouts is a little bit wide and a little bit weird for my taste, but this figure allows for more playability when it comes to the existing accessories of the Amatsu Mina, so you can configure them into however you want. The implementation of the parts to revert this thing back into the original Amatsu Mina is also appreciated for me. However, the one complaint that I have for this figure is that it is hard to handle. It does hinder my enjoyment when doing the conversion because the joints, of course they're stiff, which I appreciate. However, because of the laceration hazard and the fact that the joints are stiff, it makes the conversions a lot harder to perform and thusly slightly hindering my enjoyment. But that is one minor gripe, so if you wear gloves, it's not gonna affect you that badly. So overall, I am gonna give this figure a 8 out of 10 if you don't particularly like the Amatsu Mina, but if you do like the Amatsu Mina and plan to fork over the 3,000 Hong Kong dollars for one of these things, then it is absolutely a 9 out of 10. I would absolutely recommend it for those of you guys who absolutely simp over the Amatsu Mina design. So thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did like it, please be sure to drop a like, comment, and also subscribe for more gunplay reviews, gunplay news, and all that kind of stuff. Turn on notifications for future content alerts if you haven't, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.